The crystalline halls of the Valorian Academy echoed with contemptuous laughter as Nia stood before the Council of Elders, her son Robert trembling beside her. The boys' test results floated in holographic displays around them, each one marked with the damning red symbol of failure. Zero psionic capability, High Elder Zaxter announced, his four eyes gleaming with barely concealed disdain. Zero dimensional affinity, zero elemental resonance. He leaned forward, his scaled face twisting into what passed for a smile among his species. Tell me, human, how does it feel to birth the galaxy's most worthless specimen? The other elders chittered and hissed their amusement. For 3 centuries, humanity had been the newest addition to the galactic collective, and they had never been allowed to forget their status as the weakest race among the stars. While the Valorians could bend reality, the Krix could manipulate matter, and the Silvari could traverse dimensions, humans possessed nothing but their stubborn persistence. Nia's jaw tightened, but she placed a protective hand on Robert's shoulder. The 12-year-old boy had tears streaming down his face, and she could feel him shaking. My son may not have your gifts, she said evenly, but he has something you've forgotten. Heart. Zaxter's laughter boomed through the chamber. Heart doesn't activate ancient technology. Heart doesn't win wars. Heart doesn't earn a place in this academy. He waved a dismissive claw. Take your failure and leave. Perhaps he can find work in the mining colonies where humans belong. As they turned to leave, Robert stumbled, his hand catching against one of the ancient pillars that lined the corridor. The pillar was made of progenitor material, remnants of the long-extinct first civilization that had seeded the galaxy with life millions of years ago. No race had ever managed to activate progenitor technology. It simply existed as testament to a greater past. But when Robert's bleeding palm pressed against the pillar, something impossible happened. The pillar ignited, not with fire, but with cascading rivers of golden light that surged upward through the ancient structure. The Academy shuddered as dormant systems, silent for eons, roared to life. Every progenitor artifact within 1,000 kilometers began to pulse in response. Nia grabbed Robert, pulling him back as the floor beneath them transformed. Symbols in a language no living being could read materialized in the air, swirling around the boy like a storm of light. The elders rushed from the council chamber, their faces painted with shock and terror. Impossible, Zaxter gasped. The progenitor throng, its awakening, deep beneath the academy, in chambers that had been sealed and forgotten, something stirred. The throne of ascension, the greatest mystery of the progenitor civilization, had remained dormant despite millennia of attempts to activate it by every race in the galaxy. Legend spoke of its power to elevate a chosen one to godhood, to grant dominion over reality itself, and it was calling to Robert. The golden light wrapped around the boy like a cocoon, lifting him into the air. His tears had stopped, replaced by an expression of wonder and growing understanding. Nia reached for him, but the light was too intense. Mom, Robert's voice came, but it carried harmonics that shouldn't have been possible for a human throat. I can see it now. I can see everything. The ground cracked and split as a stairway of pure energy materialized, descending into impossible depths. At the bottom, visible through layers of reality itself, sat the throne of ascension. It was a construct of living geometry, shifting between dimensions, waiting for the one worthy to claim it. Zaxter's voice had lost all its arrogance. The blood seal, all this time it required human DNA. The progenitors were human. Not human, Robert said, his feet touching down on the energy stairway. But they knew humanity would come. They knew we would be tested, broken, made to feel worthless by those who thought power was everything. He looked back at the elders, and his eyes glowed with ancient knowledge. They didn't create tests for the strong. They created tests for those who would persist despite having nothing. For those who would remain kind when the galaxy showed them only cruelty. Nia watched as her son descended the impossible stairway. Part of her wanted to stop him, to pull him back to safety, but she could see the truth in his eyes. This had always been his destiny. Robert reached the throne and sat. The universe held its breath. Then power, true power, erupted outward in a wave that touched every corner of the galactic collective. Every progenitor site, every ancient mystery, every locked door and sealed vault opened simultaneously. The technology that had tantalized civilizations for millions of years, activated in recognition of its new master. But Robert did not become a tyrant. He did not strike down the elders who had mocked him. Instead, he stood from the throne, now bound to it eternally, and spoke with the voice of ages. The progenitors left this test because they knew that true worthiness isn't measured in supernatural gifts. It's measured in the choice to be good when you have every reason to be cruel. He looked at his mother, and smiled. They were waiting for someone who knew what it meant to fail. and still chose kindness. Nia climbed down to embrace her son, this boy who had become something more than human, yet remained wholly himself. Behind them, the elders knelt, not in fear, but in the presence of something they had never encountered. Hope, and in the cosmic vastness, ancient systems whispered a single message across the stars. The heir has come. Humanity rises. The galaxy would never underestimate humans again.